Have you ever wondered what a power of attorney is? Have you wondered if you might need one? Well, you're in luck because Attorney Joseph Marra is about to explain that very topic.
Now, the one thing we didn't discuss, because remember, everything we've discussed so far, living will, healthcare proxy, and your advance directive with respect to funeral arrangements have nothing to do with finances. Okay, absolutely nothing. So another very important document is the power of attorney. Now, I have some clients who get very leery about this document, and for good reason, but it is an essential estate planning document, and let me tell you first what it does and why you need it, okay? A power of attorney gives someone the power over your finances to the same extent you have it. I'll repeat that. What you can do with your money, they could do. So could they take your money and go to Bolivia? Absolutely. They could clean you out. But you have to, that's the negative side of it, but hopefully you'll pick properly. You'll give someone the power over your finances. People say, well, you know what? I have a will, I have a trust, I have a healthcare proxy. I don't want to do this. Well, you still need it. Let me tell you why. What happens? You become feeble and now you can't handle your day-to-day bill paying and things like that. No one's going to talk to anyone without a power of attorney. They're just not going to. So there's still, even if you have these other bases covered, if you do not have a power of attorney, there's still going to be holes in your plan. And I understand that people have this fear of giving up control, but remember, here's the thing about power of attorney. Number one, it gives, as I said, complete power over your finances to someone else. Number two, you can cancel it at any time. You have that power. So, number three, for power of attorney to really be effective, it has to be what's called a durable, general power of attorney. Durable meaning it survives your disability. So if you're disabled, power of attorney can still act. Used to be that the power of attorneys, because people use them a lot in business transactions, they'd give someone an agency to handle some business for them, and then it would lapse. But over time, it evolved. And you really need this durable power of attorney, because now as we grow older and we live when we're not really mentally and physically capable, you have to give the power to handle your finances to someone. And I've had people say, well, I'll give it to them later. Can't we do something else where they don't have it till later? Well, yes, you can. It's called a springing power of attorney. And what does that mean? Well, it doesn't spring into effect until you're disabled. People go, I like that one. Well, honestly, I will not prepare it. I refuse to prepare it. And people will say, why? Why would you refuse to prepare it? Think about it, okay? But just be practical now. You have this springing power of attorney. You give it to your son. You did it 5 years ago. Now all of a sudden you're in an accident and you can't handle your affairs. And your son now goes to the bank with the springing power of attorney that they've never seen before. And the bank says, we're not honoring this. Why not? Well, it's a springing power of attorney. You have to prove that your father can't act. Well, I'm telling you, is it an accident? No, we want a doctor's certification. Do you really think medical doctors want to get involved in this type of thing? As a practical matter, they generally do not, okay? So that's why I refuse to give it I refuse to prepare them. This is what I recommend my clients do. I say, name two people who have equal and separate power to act. And particularly with as a spouse, if you're married, this makes sense. So you would name your spouse and a sibling or your child as your agents. You let them know. And in New York, they have to sign the document. The agent has to sign it in front of a notary. That's called it has to be acknowledged, right, for it to be effective. So then you also name a backup if the first two can't. That's typically what I recommend. You go, well, I'm giving my son this power to go take my money. Yeah, but now if your son, is he going to go do it? he does, you could stop him, right? And now it's good to know, if you give it to him, if he's going to act inappropriately, now you're competent, you're in good shape, you could stop him, you could cancel it. What is the flip side? What are the dangers? Here's typical danger. Single woman living in Manhattan, not a case I had, but something you read about when you're doing your education courses. She was going in for an operation. She had no estate planning documents. And she then said, well, my closest friend and relative is my sister. So she did a power of attorney. She named his sister. Well, she was, I guess, that close to her sister because she didn't realize her sister had a gambling problem and liked to go to Atlantic City a lot. So while this woman was recuperating from her surgery, the sister took $40,000 out of her account and blew it in Atlantic City. And she realized it 2-3 months later when she was able to recover her faculties and start managing her own affairs. That is a danger. But I submit that if she had given maybe the power of attorney earlier to the sister, it wouldn't have been such a new thing when she became disabled, and maybe the sister wouldn't even have thought about it. I don't know, it's possible. That's why I say give the power of attorney and give the broadest powers you can to the person when you're in good shape, when you're competent, and see how they are. If they stick it in the drawer and never do anything, that's great. But at least they'll know that if you're disabled, they can act. Another thing you should do, bring the power of attorney to your banks, to your financial institutions. There are techniques that can be used to protect money, even if you're going in the nursing home tomorrow. So don't think that because mom's going in the nursing home tomorrow, all is lost. Obviously, the earlier you do this, the more you could protect. And even if mom's in the nursing home and she's paying privately, there are things that can be done. But obviously, the earlier they're done, the more assets you could protect. And this is also why it's extremely important. If the person in the nursing home now does not have capacity to transfer assets or do anything, that's why it's so important to have a power of attorney in place already. If not, well, we say, well, what if I don't have a power of attorney? Well, that happens too. And what do you do? Well, we talked about before the 17A guardianship for children. Now you do the Article 81 guardianship. You would file for guardianship to get control of mom or dad, whoever was going into the nursing home. And you'd ask the court for powers to do Medicaid planning so you can protect some of the assets. This is more expensive, more cumbersome, takes a long time. If you had spent a few $100s to do the power of attorney before, your estate wouldn't be and your family wouldn't be spending the few $1,000s to have an Article 81 guardian appointed for you to do it now when you're already in the nursing home. So that's why it's always better to plan and get these things done. One other thing about the power of attorney, it used to be years ago, you had a very short power of attorney, 2-3 pages. And there was a provision, if you initialed it, it said, I give my agent power over all other matters. And people thought that was good enough until things got into the court system. And the judge said, well, if I really wanted you to have authority over that, he would have said so. He didn't say it. Even though you checked that all of the matters box. Yeah, but he probably didn't realize what that meant. This is so important that you need to spell it out. So I try to spell out anything I've come across over the years, whether it be through going to lectures, talking to other attorneys, seeing things in my own practice. Oh, that's good, I got to add it. So I'll add it and try to cover all possible contingencies. Can all possible contingencies be covered? No. But I think I've gotten pretty close.
Thank you so much, Joe, for that important information. And thank you, audience, for watching. If you yourself or someone you know may have questions on this topic, please don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call the law offices of Joseph Marra. They are professional, friendly, and really great at looking at the pros and cons of your situation, coming up with a fantastic strategy, and giving you some options. We look forward to hearing from you soon.